Good morning and welcome to the second day of the Atlantic Council's 10th Global Energy Forum. Please welcome Executive Vice President, Atlantic Council, Jenna Ben-Yehuda.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the second day of the Atlantic Council Global Energy Forum. Yesterday's discussions unfolded against a backdrop that few of you, all of us in the global energy community, could have imagined just months ago. Recent disruptions to global energy markets have served as a reminder that despite decades of technological advancement, market integration, and infrastructure development, energy remains deeply intertwined with our geopolitics, national security, and the real realities of physical supply. So throughout day one, a common theme really emerged across all of our conversations. The immediate challenge facing policymakers and industry leaders is not simply responding to disruption, it's deciding what lessons should endure after the shock has passed. We heard discussions about the role of energy in a new era of geostrategic competition, what it will take to build an AI economy, all of the ambitions that will support it, the opportunity afforded by serious and thoughtful engagement across the Western Hemisphere, and under it all, a really growing recognition that energy security, economic competitiveness, and national security are no longer separate conversations. They're really the same conversation, one which requires active and continuous dialogue. Yet history teaches us that moments like these present us with a choice. The choice, honestly, is a challenging one. The first option is to treat that disruption as temporary, to focus just on the immediate response, and assume that once a crisis stabilizes, the underlying vulnerabilities can be set aside. But the second is to use that disruption as a catalyst, to make investments, to pursue reforms, and to build partnerships that leave the system stronger, smarter, more efficient, and more resilient than before the crisis. And we know that the most successful energy strategies in history have followed that second path. And so over the course of day two, we hope to tackle these challenges with that perspective in mind. We'll explore how diplomacy is reorienting a world where energy and geopolitics are mutually reinforcing ideas, how energy infrastructure can keep pace with the growing demand, how supply chains can become more secure and diversified, and how strategic partnerships between the public and private sector can really strengthen economic prosperity and stability for people and for planet. And we'll also examine a question that really sits at the heart of this forum. What does energy leadership look like in this strategic moment? And so that brings us to our first discussion of the day. We're going to be talking really about one of the most consequential challenges facing American leadership in this moment: the race to secure critical minerals that power our national defense, that meet our growing energy needs, and are the literal and figurative building blocks essential to the advanced technologies that will define the rest of this century. So from rare earth elements in F-35 fighter jets, missile guidance systems, and the chips that enable artificial intelligence, to the lithium and cobalt in electric vehicle batteries, to the magnets in wind turbines, all of these materials are the foundational layer of modern power. And today, the United States is dangerously dependent on a single nation for the mining and processing of many of them: the People's Republic of China. China controls roughly 70% of global rare earth mining and nearly 90% of refining. It has already demonstrated a willingness to weaponize that control. In the past 3 years, Beijing has imposed export restrictions on gallium, germanium, graphite, and antimony, all materials essential to semiconductors, AI, defense systems, and energy. Even after a trade summit between President Trump and President Xi last fall, those underlying controls remain in place, with a one-year pause set to expire at the end of this year. The Trump administration has responded with tremendous urgency invoking the Defense Production Act, standing up a $12 billion strategic reserve, taking equity stakes in domestic rare earth producers, and convening a 54-nation critical mineral ministerial here in Washington. And we know in Washington, urgency can and often is bipartisan. Critical minerals may be really one of the clearest examples of that in our time. The Dominance Act, which would formalize American leadership in allied minerals, partnerships, establish a new State Department Bureau for Energy Diplomacy, and create a framework for energy security compacts, just passed the House on Monday. So thanks to Reps Kim and Bera for getting that done right in time for our panel. So at a time when these energy markets, technological competition, and geopolitical rivalry are becoming more interconnected, the stakes for American leadership are especially high. The United States possesses extraordinary energy resources, world-leading innovation, and a network of allies and partners truly unmatched anywhere in the world. But the question for us today is how those advantages can be translated into durable strategic leadership, especially when that leadership is contested as it is now. So to help us explore that question regarding American leadership, we're really in for a treat. We're going to be joined by three distinguished leaders who have been at the forefront of advancing energy diplomacy and strengthening America's role in the world. So please join me in welcoming Senator Chris Coons, Representative Ami Bera, and Representative Young Kim to the stage for our conversation on energy diplomacy and U.S. leadership.